Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the third and final episode of the Long Voyage numero
You meant
5.
final hour. Hopefully it's not the final episode.
No. Final hour, but not the final episode. Fine, okay. No, it's not the final episode. We've got lots more episodes of this to come, I'm sure.
I just hear the sound of that plan for a TPK at the end of tonight's session being shattered by our discoveries.
No chance of that. I think I don't generally speaking plan for TPKs. I don't. I'm not that kind of GM.
Sometimes they happen if the stuff is against us, but that's not really her fault.
And anyway, you guys are walking along and you're talking with Braylon right now, and
yeah, Ilva looks a little confused. How can someone be too nice for war?
I would like Gilfie would be like thinking from like when they were walking, he would be thinking and approach like between Ilva and Sindri is probably somewhere on front, but like up to Ilva and like from what they describe, actually Odrin reminds me of at least a little bit like Orn and Didi. Know what I mean?
Yeah, when they get to fighting, they really get to fighting.
But the whole, it's probably, it's amongst Southlands. It's, I suppose, such battle rage would be weird in some people, but here maybe it's,
Yeah. Maybe.
It's not an unfamiliar concept.
She looks at Gilfie, and then, oh, right. No, it isn't.
So sorry, I was just...
Why do you apologize so much? Braylon asks. You seem to have a good head on your shoulders. That's not something you should be apologizing for.
He really does. Have a good head on his shoulder.
Well, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Oh, I really... He looks around as you walk, and he just, he's got this very thoughtful look on his face. And he turns around with, spreading his arms out to the side, and just turns around himself as he walks, and he says, look around you. Tearglass is a beautiful place, right? I mean, I've never seen your home. I don't know what that looks like, but
you wouldn't like it.
To me, this is a beautiful place.
It is.
Ilva smiles crookedly. It's weird. The snow is green.
Yeah, it's because it's called grass. But we, instead of enjoying something like that and planting crops and breeding strong cattle and herds of sheep and goats and great big fat pigs and great big fat wives and fantastic kids, we're busy killing each other. I will never understand why. It does not seem right.
Does it seem right to you that fire burns crops?
No.
Seem right that river floods the fields?
No, but it's at least
it's one of the concepts of the world. It's how it is.
It is. But you cannot sit down and have a conversation with fire. And much as you might try, you can't hack at water with a sword and make it stop. It's different with people. I realize that the great contest is not something that we can avoid. But it seems pointless.
Well, I don't know many who've had a conversation with the powers either. But it is as they command.
I guess it is. I guess it is.
We'll just have to hang in there.
Yeah. Well, at least, he says and grins, it looks kind of bitter. I have decided that I am not going to play their game.
Oh?
I am unwed, and I shall not be siring children, because I refuse to bring children into this world just for them to be meat, to be fed into the slaughter.
I think that one actually makes Frodi look very thoughtful.
I don't blame the swords. He says, well, not most of them.
As far as stories go, they didn't really have a say.
Exactly.
But at least some of them is trying to make it a fair fight.
That's exactly it. That's why I'm fighting for a man like Karatok. He does not want to see things protracted. He just wants to, get it over with and win. Wonder how long it'll take. I wonder how many swords are still left out there in the world.
I don't know how many they started out with.
Apparently a lot, he says.
Really?
A lot.
But weren't they supposed to be swords for a people, and what happened with that people then?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but some stories say that there were thousands of them to begin with. I don't know. I don't honestly know.
If I understood your question correctly, Ylva, people who lose their sword become irrelevant.
Yeah.
At least that explains why the swords fight so hard as they do.
Yeah, and then those people, when they become irrelevant, they become, well, prey to others, because suddenly their lands and their crops and their cattle and their ability to work the fields, they can't be defended anymore.
No mortal can take down a sword.
Exactly, only a sword can kill a sword.
That seems widely unfair, actually.
Well, let's just say, I don't blame the sword, but I definitely...
Ylva pouts.
But I definitely...
You make the powers seem like bitches.
Yep.
Well, the contest is between the powers, the swords, the chosen warriors. We are, I suppose, resources that the swords can then use in their battle.
Indeed. And somebody like Liam lives by exactly that. To him, people are resources that he can use.
Too bad it won't do anything, but I'd really like to plant my fucking warhammer in his face for that. Fighting unfair, there's nothing I hate more than that.
Yeah, but there's one thing to fight unfair. He does that too, by the way. But he doesn't care how many people die. To him, it doesn't matter if he kills or if he kills 500 people that didn't need to die. It doesn't matter to him. He doesn't care if he loses 1,000 warriors that didn't need to die. Because, oh well, he can replenish them because he's not going to go away anytime soon. And when the next generation of warriors has grown up, he's still going to be there.
It must be weird to watch the world change around you while you yourself are unchanging. I can imagine you would lose your sympathy for mortals after a while.
I think so.
Yeah.
Some do, but not all. I mean, think about it. Again, Karatok is a good example. He's not the only one. Aiden, although he can't talk to you, but he sometimes talks about the Sword of the Fair Master, who's, you know, the she sword, as being an intensely honorable person. Somebody who cares, who doesn't even fight offensive campaigns. He just stays in the barrows. That's this giant forest. It's big as a... It's so big that it takes a 10-day to walk just along the edge of it. And then it's many days deep as well, and it's bordered on one side by mountains. It's the home of the she.
Do you know
only a
a
fool
lot of the
Oh, anyway, sorry.
swords?
Sorry, what?
Do you know a lot of the swords?
I know of them, but I don't know them personally, obviously.
Ilva describes the one she saw in her vision.
Oh, that one, yes. No, he says, that doesn't ring a bell.
Thrody looks very thoughtful, and then he says, I wonder if the cows blame us when we slaughter them to eat.
That was a...
You make a man you make a man long for spuds.
You what?
You make a man long for spuds.
Spuds?
Potatoes.
potatoes.
Oh. Then Thrody just looks confused. What?
I am
Because
deeply
if-
disappointed, Rasmus.
Because if he says the cows blame us, then I would feel, considering how I have just been griping about how the swords view us, or the powers at least view us, I would feel like a hypocrite.
Well, that was my point. I can understand why we might not be more than cattle to them. Though I do prefer the ones who view us as more.
Indeed. I guess.
Well, at least there's difference in cattle farmers these days.
Yes. Yes, there is that. Oh well.
Man, imagine to live forever in a fight like this. I'm kinda happy I'm not gonna.
I can certainly sympathize with that. I don't think I would like to. Imagine just growing to be 100 years old in a world like this. Imagine how many people you would see die.
I imagine it's a good thing I've never heard of a sword siring children then.
They can't, I hear. I don't know for a fact, but I think they can't.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to outlive my children.
No.
Ilva looks thoughtful. Thinking about living forever and seeing loved ones die, and then she softly mutters, well, no wonder the Raven Lady keeps to herself.
The Raven Lady, anyway, tell me about her. I don't know much about your swords, after all. You've met Karatok. Tell me something about yours.
Well,
Thrody immediately looks to Ilva because he imagines she'll start rambling anytime soon.
yeah, the stars in her eyes light up as the widest grin spreads on her face, and she just goes, "Oh, she's magnificent."
And you guys keep talking like that for the rest of the day.
Well,
I kinda guess.
unless Ilva is being shut up, she will talk about her the rest of the day.
I don't think anybody is. I mean, then it should be some of the Southlanders doing so anyway. Nobody else is.
I think Frode will be happy to let her talk because that was just a very heavy conversation we just had.
Yeah.
And her childlike glee about the sword is a good way to cheer up.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that she's so infatuated with the talk and just getting to ramble about the Raven Lady to someone who actually wants to hear it again for her 100th time or whatever, that she trips a couple of times and have to get back up, and there's a tree in the way, and why did it jump out of her? And yeah, she doesn't fail to mention that she tries to fight with the Raven Lady's honor, as in she won't fight someone who can't fight themselves.
And well, as I said, you probably keep going for the rest of the day with this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day is also a pretty uneventful, just a hike through the countryside, basically. By the end of the third day, when you guys set up camp, Galvin points out to all of you that it wouldn't do to light a fire tonight, and because he says we're out in the open and we are no longer completely safe. We're still on Karatok's lands, but we're right on the outskirts of it. We will be passing into enemy territory tomorrow.
Elva nuts.
This also, of course, means you can kind of extrapolate from that, all of you, that you have now been traveling for 3 days. That means that sometime early on the fourth day, you'll be heading into enemy territory. And you have
By the way,
yeah,
Jon, during the second day, she would have asked if they would teach her their language.
Sure, they're happy to.
Oh, Frode would be very interested as well.
Yeah. They have no problem with that. But anyway, that you just to get back to this, you can extrapolate that from you're passing into enemy territory reasonably early on the fourth day. You had to travel for a 10-day to get to Ballycnock. And that means necessarily that you will be traveling almost 6 days through enemy country, at least 5 days, even though you probably move a little, even though you probably move a little bit slower in enemy country, because you have to always keep an eye out for everything. You can't just walk as though you own the place, because you don't. But even so, this does tell all of you that you had been told that Karatok had taken serious losses and that he had lost a lot of territory. But this really shows how much territory he's lost.
Yeah, I just thought, well, the place we're going, we're supposed to be in the outskirts of his territory. This is, wow.
Yeah. That was the outskirts of his territory before these losses.
Yep.
So he's lost a lot of land.
Mm-hmm. Holy crap. Not that Elvis says it aloud, but her face probably says it.
Yeah.
I think this probably puts Frode in serious mode, and he'll spend more time asking them about the fort they're going to.
Yeah.
How it's built, what kind of wood, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. First and foremost,
common building techniques.
They do say that the buildings there are not stone. It's a wooden settlement with thatched or thatched roofs, or with what are they called, wood shavings for roofing. So it's not tile, it's not stone. It might be wattle and daub in some places, but most of it is you know, very basic building materials. The palisade was made from oak. It is the best material for something like that. But the last they checked, the last they heard of it, and the last person they say who came who came by that way was Aidan, and he described that the palisade was 4 paces high and made from oak, which is not terribly impressive when it comes down to it. But if the fact is that it's up on a hilltop, that helps.
And they can see us coming,
Yes.
according to...
Yes, they can.
So it's impossible for us to get in then.
Unseen, probably yes.
And I don't think we're going to be let in as honored guests.
Almost certainly not. Although, he says, Galvin says it's not completely out of the question. First and foremost, you are not, well, you're not men of tier glass. They have no reason to even know who you are. They will probably be quite distrustful because you're tall and well armored and heavily armed. But they don't know you from the next person over as such. Also, in our case, I mean, it's not as if it's written on our faces in you know, in great big lettering that we are Karatox men. It doesn't say so anywhere. Aidan is she, you know. It's not that many she fighting outside the barrows to begin with. Aidan's face goes very serious at that moment, and you've all picked up because you're, as you said, you wanted to learn the language. And Gylfi, you already spoke it, right? Gylfi?
Sorry.
No worries.
Again?
You already speak the language, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But do you speak old form or new form? I can't remember.
I think new form.
New form, yes. Okay. He does. Aidan does look up, and he says in new form. He says, I fight Liam because he's a murderer. And I have a family. If Liam wins, he will burn down the barrows. And for those of you who are only learning, you might catch 3 or 4 words in that, but you know, but Gylfi, at least you get the whole meaning of it. That he's what he's saying.
So basically, what Ilva heard is Liam bad news.
Yes.
Bad news because facial expression.
Yeah, basically.
Liam because Liam is probably said the same way no matter what language.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gylfi looks more concerned, like,
He needs to be stopped now. I don't think the she can wait in the barrows for him to come to us. If we do, we'll die.
Ilva looks at him, then looks at Gylfi because Gylfi understands some of it.
Gylfi is like, well, we're like listening to the she, like very. He looks concerned and bit sad when he looks at the she at Aiden. And he actually, and then Gilfy actually speaks in the in Tirgas. I've just heard rumors of the she. I heard they are exceptional at. Well, you are exceptional at defending your forest.
Yes, but we are not many. You, he says and gestures to all of you, and he's really searching for the words here.
I would say Gilfy would try to maybe words.
Not she. You. Man, woman. Have many children. We don't. We have. We could, but we don't. We want everyone to be important. So everybody, all she, have a role in life. They're all important. We have no beggars, no poor people, no lords either. We're just, but because we do that way, we are few. So while we are good at defending the barrows, we cannot hold off someone like Liam forever. Not all she agree with me, in fact. Sadly, too few agree with me. That's why I'm here.
It's admirable that you're brave enough to split from your own people to follow.
I have a wife and a son and 2 daughters. That's a large family for she, he says. I want them to be safe. We live for so very, very, very long. And I don't want my children to grow up having to face a man like Liam. My life is not important enough for me to sit at home and do nothing.
Well, I suppose it's, good to have a home to fight for.
It is. You have no home to fight for?
Even Ilva's face grows dark.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
I am very sorry. I meant no offense.
It's
Oh, it's all right.
we buried our dead.
You have a ship, right?
Yeah.
And Southlander ships are very good, I hear.
Yep.
The best you can say.
Then, my friends, I think the world is your home.
It's a nice way of looking at it, I suppose.
It does not ease the pain, I know. But maybe it will make you think a little. Yes?
Yes.
Well, at least there's well something resembling family, and he does like a very subtle glance at like Elva and Sindri. Like, I don't know if they weren't paying attention to Gylfi, they would probably not notice.
Well, Ilva hears it and then just slings her arm around him and drags him in. Yeah,
It's like,
there is.
no.
While they're still walking. I know
No, please. Oh no.
Yeah.
Aw, you didn't used to hate hugs. She looks hurt and lets go. They grow up too fast, damn it.
Yes, Aiden says. It only takes about 80 years.
I wish.
Ilva lifts a brow with a what?
He winks and smiles. We don't die unless somebody kills us or we get ill. We just go on.
Considering what we've just talked about, I'm not sure whether I should be envious of you or not.
So you could live as long as a sword if you're... Well, I don't know if the word is lucky.
Yes, I could. Nobody... No she has lived that long yet. We can still get ill. People can still kill us with violence.
Yeah, you don't have the same immunity as a sword has.
No, but we don't grow old in the same way you would.
I guess if you're born she, that's not actually a bad thing. I guess that's just the way of life.
Exactly, it's just the way it is.
But I guess getting friends outside of the she is
Difficult,
weird.
yes.
See the puny humans grow old and die of old age.
I would never call you puny. I would never call you puny.
Should certainly hope not.
No, I never would. Because you are not.
How tall is she?
They
Looking
are,
by Aiden.
they are, from the looks of Aiden, they're about maybe a little taller than the average man of tier glass, but they're nowhere near as tall as you guys are. But he says, no, I'm not calling you puny. I'm not calling my friends here puny.
No, that's not what I meant.
Okay. It's the fact that you do not live as long merely means that you live differently. You have to approach life in a different way we do. She can spend 50 years learning a craft. Lots of men and women don't live to be 50.
Yeah, we don't have 50 years to learn a craft. I suppose we're quick learners.
We kinda have to be.
Yeah.
As far as I know, no battle maiden have lived that long either.
What is a battle maiden? Is that like you? I mean, you You have
And
fighting women in the Southlands.
they are battle maidens.
Are all
In the
women
Southlands,
battle
we have battle maidens, and then we have regular women. Battle maidens make a vow to fight,
Oh.
but we trade that out, so we fight, but we never get families.
Oh,
That's our vow.
that is very honorable.
Very serious.
Yes.
They are the punishments that befall men who attempt to touch or interfere with a battle maiden, well, are fatal, and punishments administered to a battle maiden for allowing a man touch her can be just as fatal depending on their metal.
Okay, these men who are sitting around the fire with you right now are all a bit worried, and Galvin looks up and says, when you say touch, does this mean I'm not allowed to give her a hand up if she stumbles? Because we've seen her do that a few times.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
It's more the sexual kind.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, the Raven Lady isn't that short-sighted in her.
Okay.
In the
Well,
I'm allowed to help a man as well, but
Well, if that
no
was the
marital thing.
case, if that was the Gilfie's like, if that was the case, I would be dead already.
well, all right, good. I just wanted to be sure because we've all seen your prowess. Nobody here wants to get on your bad side, and if you are in any way representative of what a battle maiden is like, and we've I dread to...
Well, I've heard I'm a little atypical for a battle maiden.
Oh,
They say I smile too much.
oh.
She's much more clumsy than usual.
She is still young for a battle maiden, but she is quite capable.
Well, they didn't grow very old, wasn't that what you just said?
Well, she's still young for a person.
Well, okay, fair enough. I get it. I see.
I'm
Okay.
17 summers.
Wow, you're certainly, he says, and blinks. I'm 36. I can't even remember. what it
Ilva's
was like.
turn to look surprised.
I can't even remember what it was like to be 17.
You're
Gilfie
36?
politely does not speak.
Yeah, this Braydon says, yeah, I'm 36.
Wow.
I take your surprise as a compliment.
Well, I think it's because you age differently than we do, because you don't look 36 to me.
What, do I look 50?
No, 20 or something.
Oh, well.
You do not have the harsh, cold winds of the Southlands to harden your face.
No, basically, we go from young to sour milk. And
that's good. I like that.
I can.
I'm probably
Sindri-
never going to use that around another Southlander unless I have a death wish, but I really like that expression.
Yeah,
For example, if I may, Sindri was born as sour milk.
yes. At this point, Sindri was sort of making a face that say, "Should I be offended?" At what Ilva just said, and then as soon as Gilfie said his thing, he said, "Okay, yes, I should be offended." I thought we were better than this, Gilfie. I really do, and I kept the promise of everything, and this is how you repay me.
I'm sorry. It's out of affection, and I'm still young,
Yes, you are the youngest of us, aren't you? And then he looks at at the others, and without batting an eyelid, because it's not. Even if it's not a secret, but he's just going to say it. This fine, strapping young man is only 15 summers.
They all look at him with this look of, oh dear.
He's
Have
like,
you? I hesitate to ask, Braydon says, but have you ever been in a fight? I mean, not just a fist fight, but a fight for your life.
Oh yes, he's done that.
As I remember, he was a better shot than you, Sindri.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, Sindri.
Goes back to sour milk.
No, he body tackles Frothy at this point.
Frothy's just laughing.
Yes. I don't mind. I don't mind it from anyone else, but just not Frothy. Frothy is just.
While they're tussling, he is just like, to be fair, he did.
Well, in any case, you keep moving throughout the day, and more banter and just good natured fun and so on.
Yeah. Ilva also mentions that from the minute they can lift a weapon, they're usually also taught how to use it.
Yes.
Give you that at some point, like when like the talk would move away from him, he would probably just to occupy himself, like pull out his mortar and pestle and try to work on something, like on mixing herb, but like he's trying to figure out how to mix the herbs more to harm than to heal, because he's curious.
Yeah.
Please don't mix it up with the stuff you use to heal us.
Well, that's actually pretty good that you mentioned this, because towards evening, when you really have time, because people are talking about looking for a campsite and so on, that's when you really have time to look for herbs and so on anyway. You've reached the outskirts of a forested area. It's obviously it's nowhere near like the Barrows as you've had it described to you, but it's still a forest. And obviously a forest is a good place to set up camp, because quite frankly you're not out in the open. And from the looks of it, your companions, they feel pretty sure where you are, and then again maybe not entirely. I mean, they're sure that you are heading in the right direction. That's fairly simple. They can go by the stars and so on. But you may be slightly off course, because none of them seem to know this place exactly. And in fact, the rest of you do find not just a campsite, but it's actually a place that has been used as a campsite in the past. You can see that others have used it. It's been a while, but it has been used as that before, because there are a sooted area on the ground where people have had a small campfire. There are some rocks that have been rolled over that are flat on one side, so you have a place to sit. So it's pretty neat actually, and it's even in a small lowering in the forest bed. It's in a dell, as it's called, and this dell would protect you from being seen by, except you'd have to get pretty close to see you, and you would even be able to have at least a small fire there, so you could get some warmth and cook some food for that matter, without people noticing.
Might be too good to be true, but it'd be good to at least check the area to make sure there's no chance of it being someone ambushing us here.
Of course. Well, you have plenty of time to do that. Give me a couple of well, not just a couple, but just give me those who want to check. Give me a perception. And it's not perception anything, it's just perception, because you're using all of your different senses here.
What does acute senses give?
Acute sense. Which one do you have?
Acute senses. It's an advantage.
Ah.
You haven't specified which one. I've got 2 separate acute senses for sight and hearing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but what do they cost? Because I think I actually got both of them. But I'm not entirely sure. That depends on the price of them.
I don't actually have the book open right now. We'll have to look that up before next
All
time.
right.
Because it's almost time.
Yeah.
Okay. Frothy, you roll. You do fine. What about the rest of you? Any of you? Ilva, okay.
No.
Okay, you miss it. But Sindri and Gylfi. Okay, Ylva, you don't see anything. You're probably just busy getting the campsite set up. The rest of you check the surrounding area and have no problem. You find nothing. Nobody's ambushing you. You've got you've got a nice secure little campsite going here, which is quite frankly a bit of a blessing. You haven't had a hot meal in a couple of days, so it's nice to be able to do something like this. The one thing that
can I use my knowledge of fire making to minimize the amount of smoke of firewood?
Yes, absolutely, you can. That would be certainly be a thing you would know how to build a fire to catch and burn properly rather than creating a whole load of smoke. So you do that, but Frothy, on top of that, you made a really spectacularly good roll, and Gylfi as well, because you said you were looking for various herbs, and Frothy, you come back with you find a couple of bushes full of some kind of berry. It's not bloodberries, which is what you would be most familiar with from back home.
Yeah.
But these are black and quite large as well, and you see bees there, which kind of means okay, it's probably sugary, and you taste one of them and they're really good. So probably a matter of filling your helmet in a hurry and bringing back to the others.
Yes, and then I make once I've gathered them, before munching down, I would probably ask Gylfi just to be sure.
Yeah.
Are these poisonous?
Yes. Good idea. Gylfi, in the meantime, you've been looking around, and you come across a plant you've never seen anything quite like it before. It's
a nettle. Touch it.
Or actually, you may have down at the market in the first town you were in, but I'm not quite sure. In any case, you suddenly find
I can roll your area knowledge if you want.
In the on the forest bed, you find fresh clover, and quite a lot of it. But while the actual clover is green, as it always is, the stems and the rest of the plant looks like it's made from pure gold.
You found gold clover!
Yeah, I was shown gold clover.
Yeah, remember that.
Yeah, you were.
Yes, you found gold clover.
I talked a bit about it. I was actually asking how to harvest it. I would probably I will pull out my knife or a sickle.
Yes.
Whatever I have to.
You can definitely do that. You get I would say 5 enough for 5 poultices out of this patch.
Cool.
And then when you get back to the camp and you find Frothy with his helmet full of berries, they are in fact not poisonous. They're really good to eat.
Yay! What are they called?
Gylfi's like, who found the berries? Sindri.
Frothy.
Frothy's like, Gylfi would be like, Frothy, slowly put them away.
Yeah.
They are really, really, really poisonous. You didn't have any, did you?
I had one.
Oh my.
Don't
worry.
Gylfi, you go!
Don't worry. Sit down by the tree.
Yeah, yeah.
Sit down by the tree. You know,
He does what the healer says.
have some of it. Raise your hands above your head.
Yeah, like this.
Right. Yes. And pull your head down. Put your head down.
Like this.
Yes. Cough twice. Okay. Now remain in this position for another like minute or so. I'll just go talk to Aiden, and I'm taking the helmet of berries and just bolting.
I think when I hear him bolting, I know what's up, and I will definitely catch and tackle him for the berries.
Oh, let him actually reach the rest of them.
Oh, that is so good.
And then
save the berries.
And then when Frothy tackles him, Ilva will join in because fuck no attacking Gylfi.
Get back here, you little shit!
I mean, and at this point,
so
at
good.
this point, seeing what Gylfi has done, the party will be treated to that most rare and unthinkable of circumstances. Actually laughing at something.
I imagine that once Ilva realizes why Frothy was tackling Gylfi in the first place, she will release him of the gleamer thing she had going on,
Yeah.
then stand up, help Frothy up, and then goes, I'm very sorry. And then just laugh.
Yeah.
Help me catch him.
No!
I'll share some of the loot with you.
I'm like, no, save the berries.
Gylfi! Run! Run, Gylfi!
Oh my god, this
Time to hunt after him again then.
yes. And on this Benny Hill moment, ladies and gentlemen of the viewing audience, we shall leave you for this time, and you will have to imagine for yourself whether they manage to catch Gylfi in a manner in which they will still be able to eat any of the berries, or whether they will be spread all over the forest floor. It is entirely up to your imagination, but we will see you next week for more The Long Voyage, and from us here, thank you for listening. Please continue to do so. Spread the word. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And again, remember, if you like the music at the beginning of this recording, the artist's name is Thomas Zemler with a Z. And the song is called Epic Vikings. It is not available on places like YouTube or maybe on YouTube, but it's not available on iTunes or any such place. It is only for purchase for licensing purposes, but you can find it if you want it that way. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tonight, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
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 The berries.